One of the biggest questions, and actually is the first question that I get anytime that someone wants to learn about Bitcoin, is how do I make money with Bitcoin? From where I sit, it's one of those questions that tells me, first of all, that this person does not fully understand what Bitcoin is and is probably just looking for the next big thing in order to be able to make some money in their wallet. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone starts there. And these are the kind of questions that I like getting, because especially for the person who will be patient enough, they will be able to move from just wanting to make money with Bitcoin to using Bitcoin as money. Because just that in itself is a journey that for so many people, it takes them a really long time. Now, it is true that if you get into Bitcoin, you will make money. And that is given. Anyone who's been in the space for 3-4 years now, all of them are currently in profit if they held. That is the tip of the iceberg. And so many people get stuck on this top layer of the value of BTC versus fiat that they fail to understand that Bitcoin is two things. One, Bitcoin is money. It's a currency. But Bitcoin is also a payment rails network. Now, understanding these two things, of course, is beyond the scope of this particular video, but I want to be able to take you a step-by-step process on moving from Bitcoin is something that I can use to make money and Bitcoin is money. And here's how it starts. The first thing that you need to understand is, what is money? And this is a discussion that, of course, would take a whole hour plus, even more, because money is not just a physical thing that you can touch. Money is also a philosophy. And the philosophy behind fiat money is that you trust the government to be able to be your middleman in your transactions. This is what that means. Anytime, take a note issued by any single government, and that government had said that this piece of paper that you're holding is worth this amount, you can be able to use that to exchange value worth that amount because you trust that the government backing that piece of paper is good on its word. And that is a basic principle around currency and around money. How Bitcoin is money is by also looking at what are the functions of money. And the first is, money is a store of value. This goes without saying that if you are watching this video, then you've probably seen someone or know someone who's actually made money with Bitcoin by just holding it for a particular amount of time. Hence, it is a store of value. If you get paid in Bitcoin, you would rather hold it than spend it because it will be worth more in the future. This is where everybody starts at, and this is really important. Bitcoin is a store of value because over time it will cost you more to be able to buy the same amount of Bitcoin in the future. And this is in 4-year cycles. This is something that hopefully when you're watching this video, this is something you should be aware of. But I don't want to assume anything. Bitcoin is a store of value because in 2009, on January 3rd, the very first Bitcoin was put into circulation. As we speak today, Bitcoin is over $36,000 and it has hit $69,000, but we are currently in a bear market. Someone who bought Bitcoin in 2009, 2013, and many in 2017, some in 2020, many of them right now are already in profit. And so it shows itself as a store of value because over time, it on average goes up. That's the first. Now, there are so many Bitcoiners who are stuck at store of value. and for good reason. You should not spend all your Bitcoin or change it into fiat, because then you are leaving this good form of money to go to something else. Now, the thing that you need to get is that the second function of money is a place where we need to go into in order to accelerate the adoption of Bitcoin. And the second function of money is as a medium of exchange. It means that Bitcoin can be used as an exchange of value. You provide a good, you provide a service, and then you get paid in Bitcoin. This, I believe, is the opportunity that exists, especially for us who are in Africa, to be able to get even more Bitcoin much faster. Because you will do a service, you will produce a good, you get paid in Bitcoin. Just the same way that miners get paid Bitcoin for their mining efforts. If you have a skill, if you have a talent, then you can ask people to pay you in Bitcoin. This is a core of making Bitcoin a medium of exchange. There are places where you go to, and for the services that are provided there, you pay in Bitcoin. So you have used Bitcoin the same way you'd have used your fiat currency to exchange for that product or service at that particular shop. There is a concerted effort to get even more businesses to accept Bitcoin. But then, in order for Bitcoin to be ubiquitous with transactions, there's a third function of money that Bitcoin needs to get to. This third function of money is as a unit of account. It means that you can actually be able to go into a shop, go to a consultant who is providing goods or services, and whoever you meet, they tell you that the product they provide or the service that they provide is this number of Satoshis. This is where we hope to get to. That you can be able to go buy a mouse for a number of Satoshis. That you can be able to go buy audio equipment for this number of Satoshis. So that we stop quoting things in dollars, we stop quoting in Kenya shillings or in rand or whatever currency your country uses, and start using Satoshis and Bitcoin to be the unit of account. So what will this do? If we are able to get to this point, and of course it takes more merchants to be accepting Bitcoin, it takes more education for retail users to start using Bitcoin at these particular places, and when those two get to a critical mass adoption stage, then Bitcoin now starts being a unit of account. And that's the reason why I said at the start that people start looking at Bitcoin as a way of making money, but then they get to understand what Bitcoin is and then realize Bitcoin is money. In fact, Bitcoin is hard money, that Bitcoin is hard to produce. A currency that is scarce and hard to produce has value because the demand will not be growing linearly, it will be growing exponentially. With all the education that we do, all the pronouncements that you see on media, with all the things that are happening on the international political stage, Bitcoin's popularity, Bitcoin's price will go up exponentially. And this is not a time to try and see how many dollars would Bitcoin be, but then you need to start having a target as to how much Bitcoin do I own, no matter the price. So let's do this, me and you. In 2024, we are each going to try to get 0.01 BTC by the end of the year. Now, this is not a very lofty goal, and I'm making it like that so that it is easy for us to be able to do it. This is doing $360 worth of Bitcoin at today's prices, and that just tells you you need to do $30 a month to be able to get to it. And I'm saying at current value. So what can we be able to do? If we can be able to start on January 1st and start saving in Bitcoin, hopefully by the end of the year we'll have gotten to 0.01 BTC, which is 100th of a Bitcoin. Believe me, you'll be among the top people who hold Bitcoin if you can be able to do 0.01 BTC. So what are you waiting for? Do you have any other questions about Bitcoin? Please place them in the comments below and I'll try and answer as many questions as possible. And I'll see you in the next one.